Hey guys, what's up? So here we go, we're back with another combat achievement, and this time we are going to be taking down Vorkath the Fremennik way, which is a Grandmaster combat achievement. And it's pretty easy. This combat achievement isn't too hard, you just gotta punch him down. And the only hard part about it is that there is a little bit of a gear check. You're gonna want a defender. You can probably get away with dragon, but I am bringing the Avernic. And honestly, you want like the best strength bonus you can get as well as good defense. So Bandos is okay. This is gonna work, but if you have Torba, it's even better, right? So I am bringing a Torba helm. You could bring your face guard and give it a go, but this is a little bit of a gear check just because you need to get that DPS off, and he does still hit through you, so it's going to be a little bit of an endurance check as well. But we are bringing 3 combat potions and 2 anti-venoms along with an extended super anti-fire, because this is going to be a really long fight. And there's a few key things to point out, right? His poison, when he does his poison acid attack, it'll heal him. And this, like, we're not going to be doing much damage. It's really hard for us to do damage here, so we cannot be affording to be stepping in that poison. So we need to be really good at not only Woogs walking, but knowing how to not let that very first hit of poison actually hit you. Because it's going to add up, and this is going to come down to the wire. But that's really the only hard part about this task, is getting consistent with your acid dodging while also Woogs walking. But yeah, this is going to be part of our Earn Your Master Defender Hilt Combat Achievement series, where we get enough combat achievement points to finally earn our Master Hilt. So if you've been having fun with the channel, if you've been learning a lot, or if you've been sticking around for a while, throw me that like, throw me that sub, and let's go take down Vorkath the Fremennik way. Alright, so we're going to start by pre-potting all of our doses, and we're going to start taking down Vorkath with just our fists. So, this is going to be a long fight, guys. This, your DPS is absolutely abysmal when you're just trying to punch Vorkath. Luckily, when we have similar strength bonus gear to what I'm wearing right now, so like I said, it's just Bandos. We do have a small strength bonus coming from our Torba helmet that you wouldn't have if you only brought the face guard. But the Defender hilt is, or I mean, I'm sorry, just the Defender is probably the most important part to add to this setup. So I tried killing him a few different ways with different styles of budget gear, and I found that just a simple Dragonfire shield, I was not getting very good DPS, and so I switched over to a Defender. And bringing that Defender with me showed a very big difference, especially when it's stacked with those super combat pots. But you can see right here, we're going to want to get that Wooks walk down. We're definitely going to want to get as much free DPS as possible on this guy. Because this is a true endurance test. We're going to be running low on brews and super restores by the end of this. And we're honestly going to be using all 3 of these super combats as well. The benefit to bringing Torva here is that it will increase both your melee and ranged physical defense, which is going to help a little bit on your supplies, as well as it does give you slight strength bonuses over just Bandos and a face guard. But in hindsight, we probably could have got away with just using a face guard instead of the Torba. So the Torba helmet is the most expensive piece of gear in this full setup. And in hindsight, as I said, it's probably not necessary. I think we could have got away with this with just a face guard. So if that's all you have and you don't have the Torba helmet, don't be discouraged. I think you can probably do it anyway. It's just you're going to have a few less doses of brews, as I have at the very end of the fight, right? So you're going to be using a little bit more supplies, just simply because he's going to be hitting through your armor defenses just a little bit more. But we can see right now, what's he at? He's at about 80%, right? So we have done 1/5 of the fight. 1/5 of the fight is over. And if we take a look at our supplies, we actually still have quite a few brews and quite a few restores left as well. So a good benchmark to how you're doing in the fight is to watch the percentage of his health. So he's down to 75% health right now, and try to keep that, try to use your supplies as a reference, right? So if your supplies are doing better than his current percentage of health, you're definitely on pace to be able to beat him as long as no big mistakes happen and no massive RNG swings go in Vorkat's favor. But you can see right now we've only used 2 brews and 1 of our restores, and we brought 6 restores. So that means we've used 1/6 of our restores, but he's over a quarter dead. So we're definitely on pace to take him down. We still have plenty of super combat, and one thing that we want to be paying attention to is to making sure that our super fire potion doesn't accidentally drop. So bringing 4 doses of these extended super anti-fire allows us to fight Vorkath for 20 full minutes. And this is not going to be a 20-minute fight. So one full 4-dose potion of the super anti-fire is going to be enough. But you're still gonna want to bring want to bring 2 full potions of the anti-venom, and that's because they don't last as long as the extended anti-fire, and you're definitely going to go through at least 1 full one, right? Because this is totally going to be more than a 12-minute fight. It's probably going to be closer to a 15-minute fight, so you're going to want that extra dose or 2 from your second potion. But you can see our DPS wasn't as good. In the second little bit, he's only down to about 60%. He's still a little above 60%. And like I said, the DPS check is tight. Your limiting factor will most likely be the super restores. So you're going to want to bring at least 6, maybe even 7 super restores. And when you factor in how many super combats you're going to be bringing, as well as your anti-fire and anti-venom potions, you're just going to want to fit in as many brews as you have beyond that, right? So you can see the Wook's Walk is important because we do get free DPS off doing this. Our DPS is so abysmal that you might not even hit him during every phase of the Wook's Walk, which is why it's also important not to accidentally stand in any of those poisons, especially even on the very first hit, right? So right when he throws that poison out, you kind of need to already be moving. And you can't guarantee that you're going to get it every single time. He might heal for 5 or 10 health, which will be okay. But if he does that, say if he heals 10 health 10 times, well, that's an additional 100 health that you have to do throughout the entire course of the fight. But we're doing pretty good. He's approaching the 50% mark, and what I'm using to keep track of whether or not I'm on pace at this point is my super restores. So if he hits 50% and I have more than 50% of my super restores left, I know I'm on pace to beat the boss, because it seems like my super restores are actually doing worse than my brews. And like I said, the super restores are what's going to ultimately be the limiting factor to whether or not we have enough supplies to actually beat this guy. So we accidentally got hit by one of his little barrage bombs right there, and so we're going to need to drink a little extra brew. And that's too bad, because we can't be affording to be taking big hits like that, because we're already going to be down to the wire on our supplies, as we've mentioned before. But we got to make sure that we're always super combated up, right? We're definitely going to want our super combat potion always active during this fight. Because if you don't have that 118, 117 super combat, you're going to be taking, you're really going to be doing a lot less damage to Borkath. It's surprising how much faster you kill him if you're always super combated up versus if you're accidentally brewed down for a little bit. So here we go. So you can see we dodged that poison right there. We didn't take any poison damage, which is nice because, as I've said, if you get hit by that poison, it actually does a small heal to him. It'll heal him for as much damage as it does to you. So we don't want to accidentally let him get those free heals off. He only has 750 health, but like I said, if you were to heal 50 or even 100 health throughout the course of the fight, you're talking a significantly longer fight, percentage-wise, right? But he's down, he's below 40% health, so we have done more than 3/5 of total damage to Vork, and as long as we're doing good on our super restores, we're totally on pace to take him down. And you can see we actually still have a little more than half of our super restores left. So this should be pretty free at this point. We're just hoping the RNG stays on our side and he doesn't do too much damage where we end up wasting a bunch of brews and having to drink extra super restored doses to compensate for that, right? But you can see right there, we did take a 5 damage from the poison. Luckily, we just did 5 damage to him through the Wook's Walks. So it was a bit of a wash. But we want to be avoiding that as often as possible. We want to be healing him for as little as possible. But it looks like, according to our supplies right now, we're way ahead of pace. And this was the point during the fight where I kind of realized, man, I probably didn't need to bring this Torva helm. I think this was absolutely doable with just full bandos and a face guard. And at that point, this combat achievement could be done for well under a 200 mil budget, which I think is very, very doable for a Grandmaster task. So you can see our anti-venom was about to run out, so we made sure to get that up before it ran out. We had about 15 seconds left on it, and we're gonna want to keep our eye on our anti-fire potion, right? Just in case you're worried about getting distracted, but you happen to take a glance at your anti-fire, if you're down to about maybe a minute or so left, it's always okay to sip that dose early. This should not be turning into a 20-minute fight. So like I said, we brought 20 minutes worth of extended super anti-fire potions. And there's really no way that this would turn into a 20-minute fight unless you didn't bring enough super combat potions to last. And that's why we brought 3. 3 super combat potions should be more than enough to get us all the way through this full fight. So he's at 20% health now, and we are approaching the final phase of the fight. Not that he really changes, but at this point, we should be able to look at our supplies and know, are we going to beat him? Are we more than on pace to beat him? Or is it going to be really close and we're crossing our fingers and sweating a little bit? But we still have almost 3 full super restore potions, which is about half of what we brought. So we're definitely doing good on super restore potions, and we've only drank about 4 or 5 total brews. So we're doing really good on our supplies. The Wook's walking helped. I'd say that throughout the course of the fight, we probably did somewhere between 50 and 100 total damage through our Wook's walking, right? So we're going to want to learn how to do this. We're going to want to get our Wook's walking down because that's absolutely free DPS, right? That's DPS where we're hitting him and he's not touching us at all. So the Wook's Walk is going to be very important for this fight, and it looks like RNG is on our side. We just got some nice big hits off on him with our Fist the Fremennik way. And he's down to about 15% health left, and we should be able to take him down no problem. Like I said, we're going to want to be keeping our eyes on the supplies. So as long as our supplies percentage-wise are doing better than his health percentage-wise, we're absolutely on pace, and we just got some really nice punches off on him. Don't accidentally let your health get a little too low. You don't want to accidentally make a mistake and fail when we're so close to taking him down. And you can see we're actually brewed down right now. Somehow we managed to hit a 5 with only 61 attack level, which was pretty nice. But let's get those stats back up. We're going to get our HP up. We're going to get our prayer up because we have plenty of supplies at this point. And we're really not worried about it. At this point, we just want to make sure that we don't make any mistakes, that we don't get accidentally wombo comboed or taken out by his big fireball attack. And he should be going down any second now. So let's talk again really quick. Why are we doing a Grandmaster task when our goal is just to get the Master Defender help? And the reason why is because there's some Grandmaster tasks that are significantly easier than other Master tasks. And the things that I have in mind when I say that specifically are a lot of the Theater of Blood tasks. Some of those Theater of Blood tasks, it's hard to find teams. It can be hard to not just beat the task, but also find teams that are not only capable, but want to beat the task as well. And there are Discord servers for it, and they're very, very helpful. But personally, if you're able to get some of those Grandmaster tasks out of the way and avoid some of those more difficult Master tasks, it'll make getting that Master Defender hilt just that much easier and more stress-free. So it looks like we have 2 full potions, or I should say 1.5 potions of our super restores, and it looks like we were doing really, really good on our brew. So we probably could have brought another super restore and sacrificed a brew, and then we wouldn't have even been calling it even somewhat close, right? This would have been a really clean sweep. We still have doses of our anti-fire and our anti-venom, and we really weren't close on our supplies at all. And that's another reason why I'm thinking in hindsight that we probably didn't need to bring that Torva helmet. And this could absolutely have been done with just a face guard and our bandos, right? So I think that while I did bring closer to a 500 mil setup, this could most likely be done with just a simple 200 or sub 200 mil setup. But it looks like Vork only has a few health left. It says that he's down to his last 2%, and Vorkath is down, and we just punched him the Fremennik way. So, I know that's a long fight. It's a big endurance test, but I'm wishing you guys all the luck. Have fun. Good luck on getting your Master Defender hilt, and I will see you boys in the next one.